You have given trust freely. You have believed in promises, in loyalty sworn with words. And each time you have been betrayed, abandoned, or used. Today, we solve that problem. Today, I will show you how to win loyalty the Machiavellian way. Dangerous, calculated, and unbreakable. Loyalty not built on love, but on power. Loyalty is one of the most dangerous illusions in human affairs. People speak of it as if it were something sacred, something eternal. But nothing could be further from the truth. The loyalty of men is like the wind. It shifts, it bends, it disappears the moment it encounters resistance. To expect loyalty is to build your foundation on water. You must never expect it, never assume it, never depend on it. You must control it. Think for a moment. How many rulers, how many leaders, how many ordinary men have been destroyed not because they lacked followers, but because they believed those followers would remain true when the storm came? They trusted in promises, in oaths, in words sworn in comfort. But words cost nothing. And when hardship arrives, men abandon words as easily as a cloak cast aside in summer heat. The clever prince, the strategist of power, understands this truth. Loyalty cannot be left to the conscience of men. It must be bound, manipulated, and tied down with necessity. Imagine a falcon, beautiful, proud, and strong. It can soar to the skies and vanish at will. If you wish it to remain at your side, you do not simply beg it. You tether it to your wrist. You feed it, you train it, you make it know that it cannot survive without you. In this way, its flight remains yours to command. So too must loyalty be tethered. Loyalty is not a gift, it is a leash. The mistake of the weak is that they give their trust freely, as if men owe them fidelity simply because they are kind or fair or generous. But kindness does not secure loyalty. Fairness does not protect it. Generosity only makes men greedy for more. The weak ruler gives and gives, hoping that gratitude will anchor men to him. Yet gratitude is the most fleeting of emotions, vanishing as soon as the gift is consumed. Gratitude is never stronger than appetite, and appetite never rests. Therefore, to control loyalty, you must not feed it with gifts alone. You must chain it to need. Men must see that without you, they lose everything. Their position, their income, their protection, their pride, all must be tied to your favor. If they prosper, it must be because you allowed it. If they stand safe, it must be because you shield them. In this way, loyalty becomes not a matter of choice, but of survival. Understand this well. When loyalty is left to choice, it will fail you. Choice means freedom, and men use freedom to serve themselves, not you. But when loyalty is controlled, when men cannot imagine their life apart from you, then even if they despise you, even if they secretly curse you, they will remain loyal. Not because they want to, but because they must. History offers countless lessons. Kings have fallen not because they lacked soldiers, but because those soldiers believed they could find better fortune elsewhere. Lords have been betrayed not because their vassals hated them, but because the vassals saw profit in treachery. Husbands, friends, allies, all have been abandoned the moment another path seemed more advantageous. Do not be fooled into thinking loyalty has any purity. It is always conditional, always practical, always self-serving. So you must invert the game. You must make their self-interest serve your power. You must weave necessity into every bond, until breaking faith with you becomes more costly than remaining true. In this way, loyalty ceases to be a gamble. It becomes a weapon in your hand, predictable, reliable, and sharp. Do not be deceived by the illusion of devotion. When men kneel, when they swear allegiance, when they praise you with flattering words, do not mistake these gestures for real loyalty. See them instead as a currency, a tool, a mask they wear for advantage. If you accept loyalty at face value, you are already defeated. If you control it, then you hold power not only over their actions, but over their very survival. It is one of the oldest mistakes in politics, in leadership, even in ordinary life, to believe that love creates loyalty. People cling to this belief because it flatters them. They imagine that if they are loved, they will be obeyed. That if they are kind, generous, and merciful, men will stand with them in times of danger. Yet this is the thinking of the Narvi. Love is fragile, unpredictable, and treacherous. Fear, however, endures. Fear does not change with moods. Fear does not vanish with time. Fear is a foundation that holds when the ground shakes. A man may love you today because you favor him, because you smile upon him, because you grant him privileges or show him warmth. But tomorrow, when another offers him more, his love will move with the wind. It takes only a single opportunity, a single temptation, to turn affection into betrayal. Love is loyal only until it is tested, and when tested, it dissolves like sand between your fingers. Think of the friend who swore eternal brotherhood, but disappeared when hardship struck. Think of the servant who once praised your name, but found a new master when the gold ran out. Think of the ally who sat at your table, drank your wine, and spoke of loyalty, but when an enemy came promising wealth or safety, he vanished like smoke. This is love. Sweet to the ears, beautiful to the imagination, but dangerous to rely upon. Fear is different. A man who fears you cannot simply abandon you. He may hate you in secret, he may curse you under his breath, but his actions remain bound. He knows the cost of betrayal. He knows that to turn against you is to bring destruction upon himself. Fear chains him tighter than affection ever could. A prince who rules by love alone is always at risk of betrayal. His men obey while they adore him, but the moment fortune shifts, their loyalty melts away. A prince who rules by fear, however, compels obedience regardless of affection. Men may not love him, but they will not dare to abandon him. Fear is the stronger glue. Yet understand this: fear is not cruelty for its own sake. A ruler who inspires terror without purpose soon destroys himself. The fear that preserves loyalty is not the fear of madness or blind violence, but the fear of consequences. It is the fear that disobedience will bring punishment, that betrayal will bring ruin, that abandonment will lead to destruction. It is the fear that leaving you means losing everything. To master this, you must calculate carefully. Do not seek to be loved, for it will weaken you. But do not make yourself hated, for hatred breeds rebellion. Instead, walk the sharp edge where men fear you enough to obey, but still see value in serving you. They need not love you. They need not admire you. They need only fear the cost of disloyalty and recognize the safety of submission. Look to history. How many kings who sought to be adored were cast down by the very people they courted? They smiled, they gave, they forgave, believing affection would bind hearts forever. But the mob does not remember kindness. It remembers only opportunity. And when a rival promised them more, their love turned instantly to indifference, then to betrayal. Compare this to the rulers who were not adored, but who were obeyed. They endured longer. For their subjects knew rebellion meant death, disobedience meant punishment, and survival was tied to obedience. Fear held them steady where love failed. Even in personal dealings, this truth remains. Consider the leader who wishes to command respect from his men. If he seeks their friendship, if he makes himself equal to them, if he tries to be loved, he will eventually be despised. Familiarity breeds contempt, and affection weakens authority. But if he commands with firmness, if he makes it clear that disobedience carries consequences, his authority will not be challenged so easily. They may not love him, but they will obey him, and obedience is worth far more than affection. Love places power in the hands of others, for it is they who decide when to give or withhold it. Fear places power in your own hands, for it is you who controls the consequences that bind them. There is a temptation that ensnares rulers, merchants, and leaders alike, the belief that gold can buy loyalty, and indeed, in the short term, it can. With coin in your hand, you can summon soldiers to your banner, hire flatterers to sing your praises, and gather followers eager to swear allegiance. They will smile, they will kneel, they will swear eternal faith. But you must understand, this faith is not in you. it is in the purse. Their loyalty belongs not to the master, but to the money. Gold is a dangerous master. Those who follow you for payment alone are not bound by duty, nor by respect, nor by necessity. They are bound only by appetite, and appetite, once fed, hungers again. A man who serves you for gold will always ask for more. Each coin you give becomes the seed of his next demand. What today seems generous, tomorrow will seem insufficient, and when the gold runs out, or when a rival offers a heavier purse, his loyalty vanishes instantly, like smoke in the wind. This is why mercenaries have ruined so many princes. They fight fiercely when paid, but they do not fight for you. They fight for themselves. They will abandon you the moment your fortunes decline. And worse, they may turn against you if an enemy tempts them with a richer prize. Can such men ever be trusted? No, their loyalty is not real, it is rented. And when the rent ends, so does the service. Even outside the battlefield, the same truth applies. The advisor who flatters you for gifts will flatter your rival tomorrow for a greater gift. The ally who stands with you because of your wealth will vanish when he sees opportunity elsewhere. The servant who praises you because of your generosity will desert you when a leaner season comes. What is built only on money crumbles as soon as money shifts. True loyalty cannot be bought with silver. It must be rooted in necessity, in power, in survival. If a man needs you to protect his position, his wealth, his safety, then he will cling to you even if your purse is empty. If a man knows that betraying you would cost him more than he could ever gain, he will remain faithful even when temptation whispers. But the one who follows you only for coin is like a dog that runs to whoever holds the bone. Reflect on the difference between gratitude and greed. When you give money, you expect gratitude. You expect men to remember your generosity and reward it with loyalty. But gratitude is fleeting. It fades quickly, replaced by the greed for more. The man who received gold from you yesterday does not feel bound to you today. He feels entitled to more tomorrow. Gratitude weakens while greed strengthens, until the bond between you is nothing but a chain of endless payments, and the moment you fail to deliver, that chain snaps. Therefore, to secure true loyalty, you must be cautious in how you use wealth. Money is a tool, but it is not a foundation. It can help you attract men, but it cannot hold them. It can buy you time, but it cannot buy permanence. Use it to open doors, but never trust it to keep them closed. If you wish loyalty to endure, you must tie it not to coin, but to necessity. Make men need you more than they need your gold. Then even when the gold is gone, they will remain. Consider also the insult hidden within monetary loyalty. A man who follows you only for wealth is not loyal to you at all. He is loyal to himself, to his hunger, to his greed. He sees you not as master, not as ally, but as a source of provision. The day you cease to provide, he ceases to follow. This is not loyalty, it is commerce. And commerce knows no allegiance. The mistake of the Na'vi ruler is to imagine that men will stand by him out of duty, out of love, or out of gratitude. But men are not creatures of honor, they are creatures of need. They are not guided by what is noble, but by what is useful. This is why loyalty that rests on sentiment alone is weak. It crumbles under pressure. The only loyalty that endures is the loyalty that aligns with self-interest. If a man's own fortune depends on your survival, then your survival becomes his deepest concern. This principle is as cruel as it is reliable. Imagine a ruler who ties his nobles, his soldiers, his advisors to his fortune in such a way that their rise is inseparable from his rise, their downfall inseparable from his downfall. These men will defend him with all their strength, not because they adore him, but because defending him is the same as defending themselves. To betray him would be to cut their own throats. This is the strongest form of loyalty. The loyalty men show when their lives and ambitions are woven into your own. Look at the alliances of history. Consider the lord who relied on the affections of his subjects alone. His people cheered him, sang his name, raised him high. But when fortune turned against him, they abandoned him, for their own safety lay in submission to the victor. Contrast this with the ruler, who ensured his allies gained only through his strength, who made their fortunes inseparable from his. Such a ruler could endure even the harshest storm, for his allies had no path but to stand with him. This is the art, to turn men's selfishness into chains stronger than love or gratitude. You must arrange matters so that what benefits you benefits them, and what harms you harms them more. The ambitious general should know that his victories bring him glory only through your rule. The wealthy merchant should know that his trade flourishes only under your protection. The minister should know that his power exists only because you permit it. In this way, each man guards you, not out of affection, but out of fear that without you he has no place, no wealth, no future. Even in the smallest dealings, this principle holds true. Think of an ally who has much to lose if you fall. Will he betray you for small gain? No, because his entire fortune is bound to your survival. Now think of another who loses nothing if you are destroyed. Will he betray you? Certainly, for the cost is nothing to him, and the profit may be great. You see, it is not sentiment that determines loyalty, it is calculation. Men weigh what they stand to gain or lose, and they choose accordingly. The wise leader ensures that betrayal is always too costly to consider. Understand also that loyalty born of self-interest is not weakness. It is strength. Some rulers fear that if men serve them only for advantage, their loyalty is somehow less noble, less pure. But purity is a fantasy. What matters is not the nobility of loyalty, but its endurance. And no bond endures like the one that ties a man's survival to yours. Love fades, gratitude weakens, fear alone endures. But fear tied with profit, fear aligned with self-preservation, becomes unbreakable. This is why you must weave webs of dependency around you. Give men positions, but only positions that are meaningless without your protection. Allow them wealth, but only wealth that crumbles without your patronage. Elevate them, but only to heights that cannot stand without your hand supporting them. They will believe they are rising, but in truth, their rise is the chain that binds them to you. The ruler who masters this principle never fears abandonment, for he has made abandonment impossible. The ruler who ignores it will one day find himself surrounded by smiling faces that vanish when the winds shift. Loyalty is the most deceitful quality of men, for it is easiest to promise and hardest to keep. Any man can kneel before you, swear devotion, and speak honeyed words of eternal faith. But words are cheap, they cost nothing, and men give them freely, for they lose nothing by lying. You must understand loyalty revealed in words is worthless. True loyalty shows itself only in hardship, only in danger, only in risk. To know who truly stands with you, you must test them. Think of the countless rulers who trusted in oaths sworn in peace. Their soldiers swore they would never abandon the prince. Their allies promised eternal friendship. Their advisors declared themselves loyal to death. But when enemies surrounded the walls, when fortune turned, when the shadow of defeat appeared, these same men vanished. Some fled, some betrayed, some remained silent, waiting to see who would triumph before committing their allegiance. Words meant nothing when survival was at stake. Therefore, the wise ruler does not accept loyalty at face value. He tests it. He creates situations where men must prove themselves, not by words, but by actions. A soldier's loyalty is measured not by how he praises his commander in camp, but by whether he stands firm when the battlefield turns red. An advisor's loyalty is not measured by the counsel he gives in comfort, but by whether he risks his own standing to defend his prince when the court turns hostile. A friend's loyalty is not proven by his laughter at your table, but by whether he shields your back when knives are drawn. Testing loyalty is an art. You need not always place men in mortal danger to see their true nature. Sometimes you can measure them in smaller ways. Deprive them of comfort. Refuse them favors. Delay their rewards. In such moments, you will see who grows restless, who grows resentful, who begins to whisper behind your back. These men are not loyal. They are merely waiting for a reason to betray. The truly loyal are revealed when they endure hardship for you, not because they are saints, but because they understand their own fortune rises or falls with yours. A man who is loyal only when rewarded is not loyal at all. His devotion is nothing more than a transaction, and the moment a better offer comes, he will abandon you. But the one who remains loyal when no reward is in sight, when risk outweighs gain, that man's loyalty has been tested and hardened like steel in fire. You can rely upon him, not because of his words, but because he has proven through sacrifice that his interest is bound to yours. Do not think this principle applies only to great rulers or princes. It applies everywhere. A leader of men in business, in politics, in family, in war. Whoever believes that words alone prove loyalty will eventually suffer betrayal. You must be cunning enough to test those around you. Ask yourself, has this man risked anything for me? Has he endured anything for me? Has he chosen me when it cost him comfort, safety, or advantage? If the answer is no, then he is not loyal. He is a shadow waiting for the sun to shift. And remember, testing loyalty does more than reveal truth. It strengthens it. A soldier who bleeds with you will not forget the bond of survival. A minister who risks disgrace to protect you will bind himself to your fortune. A follower who endures hardship at your side will become less likely to betray, for his sacrifice has already chained him to your cause. Testing is both discovery and creation. It unmasks the false and hardens the true. The weak ruler surrounds himself with smiling faces and believes they are friends. The strong ruler strips away the mask, demands proof, and builds his circle only of those who have survived the test. To trust without testing is blindness. To test is to see clearly. Loyalty is often misunderstood because people confuse it with friendship, affection, or honor. They imagine that loyalty is a matter of the heart, a sacred bond, something pure that exists beyond advantage. This illusion has destroyed more rulers than open war. For the truth is this: loyalty is only useful when it serves power. The moment it serves sentiment, it weakens you. Consider the ruler who surrounds himself with friends. He chooses them because he enjoys their company, because he trusts their affection, because he feels safe in their presence. But affection clouds judgment. The friend who is kept for sentiment may not be competent, may not be useful, may not be strong enough to hold power, yet because of personal affection, he is kept close. This is not loyalty that serves power, it is loyalty that consumes it. The ruler thinks he is loved, when in truth, he is being weakened. Loyalty that serves power, however, is something very different. It is loyalty that advances your position, protects your authority, and strengthens your command. A servant who shields you from danger, an advisor who risks his life to preserve your rule, a general who secures your throne with victory. This loyalty is not sentimental, it is practical. It does not matter whether they love you, whether they flatter you, whether they please your heart. What matters is that their loyalty sharpens your strength. Anything less is vanity. The weak ruler allows himself to be blinded by sentiment. He mistakes affection for usefulness. He confuses warm words with true devotion. He fills his court with flatterers who speak beautifully, who promise eternal friendship, but who crumble when tested. He grants power to favorites, not because they are capable, but because he feels attached to them. And when enemies strike, these favorites flee, leaving him exposed. Sentiment has no place in power. The wise ruler is cold in his calculations. He measures loyalty not by feelings, but by results. He asks not, "Does this man love me?" but rather, "Does this man serve my power?" He asks not, "Does he please me?" but "Does he strengthen me?" If the answer is no, then the loyalty is worthless. For what use is a loyal fool? What use is a loyal coward? What use is a loyal flatterer whose only skill is to echo your desires? Such men bring ruin, not security. Understand that loyalty itself is neutral. It is neither good nor bad until it is directed. It is like a blade, sharp and deadly in skilled hands, useless in the hands of a child. The ruler must ensure that loyalty is placed only where it enhances strength. A loyal soldier is valuable because his loyalty is expressed in discipline and battle. A loyal advisor is valuable because his loyalty is expressed in wise counsel. A loyal minister is valuable because his loyalty secures administration and order. But loyalty that exists only in words, only in feelings, only in sentiment, it is no more than smoke. And beware of allowing loyalty to become a chain upon you. Some rulers believe that because a man has been loyal in the past, he must always be rewarded, always be elevated, always be kept close. But this is another trap of sentiment. Yesterday's loyalty does not guarantee tomorrow's usefulness. A man may have served you well once, but if he no longer strengthens your power, then his past service is irrelevant. The loyalty that matters is not the loyalty of yesterday, but the loyalty that secures you today. Do not hesitate to discard loyalty that no longer serves you. To cling to it out of gratitude or affection is weakness. Gratitude belongs to private life, not to power. In power, only one measure exists. Does this loyalty secure your rule, or does it weaken it? If it weakens, it must be cut away, no matter how many words of affection surround it. A dull sword cannot protect you, no matter how many battles it once won. In truth, the ruler who understands loyalty knows that it is never an end in itself. It is always a means. A ruler does not seek loyal men for the comfort of companionship. He seeks them to fortify his authority, to guard his position, to expand his influence. Loyalty is not a crown upon his head, to be admired and praised. It is a weapon in his hand, to be used as long as it cuts true. The moment it ceases to cut, it must be replaced. Conclusion: loyalty is never won by chance, nor is it kept by softness. It is a weapon, a shield, and a crown all at once, but only for those ruthless enough to wield it. Those who misunderstand it, who believe that love alone secures devotion, are destined to be betrayed, forgotten, and devoured by the very people they sought to protect. Machiavelli teaches us that loyalty is not built on kindness, but on necessity. It is forged in the fires of respect, fear, and calculated rewards. The wise leader never asks, "Will they love me?" but always asks, "What binds them to me so tightly that they cannot break away?" Remember this: loyalty is not about their heart. It is about their survival. It is not about their admiration. It is about their dependence, and in this lies the dangerous art. For if you master it, you will never walk alone, you will never be powerless, and you will never be at the mercy of others. This is Machiavelli's way. Those who ignore it remain servants. Those who embrace it rule.